Hi, my name is Travis Carson.
And I'm Rand Constable.
And we're here to tell you about the problems of air pollution and smog.
A huge problem today on the Earth is air pollution. It's a problem that has been working against humanity and all other things in our biosphere. But how and why?
Air pollution has been around since the days of ancient Rome. This was discovered when bubbles that were trapped in ice were discovered in Greenland, and the bubbles contained greenhouse gases from at least 2,000 years ago.
The gas bubbles were not because of global warming climate changes, but instead they were a result of methane that was put off by Roman livestock. Other things like Chinese rice fields and harbor methane and blacksmiths that produced more methane gas when they burned wood contributed to the air pollution problem. Because of these problems, methane emissions rose by 31 million tons from 100 BC to AD 1600.
Many problems can result from all these toxic gases that have been emitted into the air. Sadly, most of the harmful things that happen is to us humans, which is pretty ironic since we're the ones that put most of the gases in the air. One of the less harmful things is the throat irritation and lung irritation that occurs when we inhale these gases. Our problems can also range all the way to severe asthma attacks and even lung cancer. Exposure to the air pollution directly relates to lung cancer in many cases.
Not only are humans affected, but so is the atmosphere. This happens when fossil fuels are burned and harmful gases like nitrogen and sulfur oxides get into the atmosphere. Rain then becomes acidic when it falls and mixes with these gases, therefore making it acid rain.
In return, this then harms the geosphere when the acid rain falls to the ground, damaging the environment. This damage includes killing trees, harming animals, fish, and a lot of other wildlife. It also destroys leaves on plants, therefore leading to more death. One other thing that can happen is that the acid rain can get absorbed into the ground and make the soil an unfit place for life.
Like the geosphere, the hydrosphere is also very much impacted by air pollution. Air pollution reaches bodies of water through acid rain. When the pollutants get into the water, they cause health and environmental impacts like contaminating fish and making water undrinkable. Since the geosphere gets destroyed by acid rain, the biodiversity of organisms will then go down. So not only does the ground and plants get harmed by these acidic conditions, but so do organisms that live in lakes and streams, such as fish, clams, and snails. This happens because when the water is acidic, it lowers pH levels. Fish eggs won't hatch and other organisms can't live with this low pH levels. All of this death leads to less food for larger predators.
Surprisingly, the U.S. is not the biggest contributor to this problem. China contributes the most air pollution to the earth, having 9 out of the top 10 cities in the world producing the most air pollution. By 2020, it's projected that China will have used more CO2 emissions than the U.S., meaning that they will have most likely contributed to air pollution more than all other nations combined.
To make up for China's terrible emissions, we can help prevent this problem by conserving energy, by turning off appliances and lights when you leave the room, recycling paper, plastic, glass bottles, cardboard, and aluminum cans, and connecting your outdoor lights to a timer or use solar lighting.
A couple other things you could do are choose efficient, low-polluting models of vehicles and choose products that have less packaging and are reusable.
And lastly, you can plan your trips to save gasoline and reduce air pollution. When possible, use public transportation, walk or ride a bike, and join a carpool or van pool to get to work.
Regions that don't practice these conservative actions are most affected by the problem. Generally, more poor nations have worse air pollution than wealthier nations because of dirtier cars, factories, power plants, and no environmental regulations. Out of these poor nations, the ones that get it the worst are the smaller cities, mostly in Iran or South Asia.
Someone that is trying to help these smaller cities is the Group Against Smog and Pollution. They are one of the largest anti-air pollution organizations in the U.S. Their goal is to maintain a healthy and sustainable environment to live in. They have been a group since 1969. Obviously, not all humans are working towards preventing air pollution, because not all humans ever all work against anything.
Groups like GASP are using technologies like meters and sensors that can help make production processes less polluting by providing control, which reduces waste and defects. Something else is a catalytic converter, which reduces air pollution that comes from an engine's exhaust. Recycling technologies also prevent pollution by recovering valuable items from being wasted.
Hopefully these technologies will help stop air pollution. It has been dangerously increasing for over 150 years. This air pollution has caused 25% of all respiratory diseases. There has been 173 million tons of gases let into the air, which cost between $10 and $20 billion in damage in cleaning and medical bills. According to the National Air Pollution Control Administration, the cost is between $14 and $18 million.